Hey everybody, I'm coming at you today with a cooking video, and today we will be making vegan macaroni and cheese. A couple of disclaimers. I have filmed the beginning of this video now maybe 10 times because I keep screwing up. The second and more important disclaimer is that this is not a healthy macaroni and cheese recipe. This is, has oil, it has gluten, it has like fake cheese. It's not your sweet potato, carrot, mac and cheese sauce. Not knocking that at all, and perhaps I'll explore that in another video, but this video is a straight up crab style comfort food macaroni and cheese vegan version kind of deal. So I'm sure you can sub out some of these ingredients for other things, but this is just the way that I make it. My husband is vegan. He's been vegan for maybe over 15 years, maybe 16 or 17 years, and he loves this recipe. There are a couple of things in this recipe that I don't personally like, and I will point that one ingredient out to you. You can, kind of go wherever you want with this. So before we get started, I'm just going to show you basically the ingredients that you'll need. Okay, so before we get into the cooking portion, I just wanted to explain a little bit about how this sauce is made. You might ask, like, why you can't just take a bag of vegan cheese, throw it in a saucepan, maybe with a little milk, and melt it down and make a cheese sauce. Technically, you could take a hot bowl of pasta and sprinkle all that good Daiya cheese all over it, and it'll melt, but it's not going to make a sauce. So what we first have to do is create a sauce. The basis of all cream sauces starts with a roux, R-O-U-X. I'm sure that, if anybody who is a professional chef is watching this, I'm sure that I am butchering, this process, but as far as I learned and I'm aware, a roux is butter with flour that's, cooked down in a saucepan. When you add milk to that, it becomes a bechamel sauce. It's like a bland white cream sauce that is a basis for other sauces. For example, like you could add eggs to that and, make it an Alfredo with other ingredients with garlic and things like that. However, this is a vegan recipe and we're not making Alfredo today, we're making mac and cheese. So we are going to need to make a bechamel. And that will be where we take our butter melted in a pan, add the flour, cook it, cook it down, mix it up, make it kind of pasty, add the milk, and then add the cheese. And that's about it. That's the hard part. Before you add the cheese, you're going to want to add your salt, your pepper, your nutritional yeast, a dash of garlic if you like, and then you're going to take your hot pasta and put it in that pan, and you're going to mix it up. You're going to get it all nice and gooey and great. So let's get started. Okay, so we have started by turning on our heat on our pan, and we have scooped about 3 tablespoons of butter into that pan. Take our good old-fashioned wooden spoon, mix it around. So we don't want to burn the butter, but we want to melt it. So if you see that it's smoking or browning, you can turn down your heat. Right now I have about medium heat. So we want the butter to liquefy and to melt. I would love to put the camera back there, but I don't know. It's too hot and I don't think that I could get a good enough angle. So we're just melting the butter. And this is a super easy recipe. It probably seems complicated based on the way that it is presented. And yes, it would certainly be you know, easier to just purchase like a box of vegan mac and cheese, but this is a customizable recipe. And this is also the basis of other cream sauces that you can do. Okay, so we have our butter is all melted. We're going to add our flour. I might not use all of that. So we're going to kind of see how it goes. And really kind of the best thing that you can do when you're making a cream sauce is to go slow, to add your ingredients slowly. That way you can kind of gauge how things are going. The more flour you use, the thicker that this sauce will be. I'm going to use all of that flour. And again, you don't want to burn this, but you do need to cook a little bit of the raw kind of flour taste out of your mixture. So this is a roux, I believe, right here. It's coming along pretty nice. That's the consistency, so it's kind of becoming a paste, but you want it to be smooth, so you don't want lumps and bumps in it. It's coming along. I'm going to turn up the heat just a little bit, and we'll start adding our milk. And again, you start out with a certain amount, you know, for example, I had about, I don't know, maybe 1/6 of a cup of flour, and I have a little bit more than a half a cup of milk. That's probably more like 3/4 of a cup of milk, but I'm going to add it slowly. So I'm going to pour maybe half of that in. And at this stage, your sauce is going to look kind of funky. Might not look blended or nice, but you're going to keep stirring. And as you can see, it definitely all comes together. So this is a bechamel. This is a white cream sauce. And at this stage, this isn't going to have that much of a spectacular flavor because it's flour, butter, and milk. But you can see that this is becoming thicker, because flour is a thickener, obviously, or not obviously, not everybody knows. So I'm going to add a little bit more milk, and it's kind of about trial and error. How thick do you want this? How creamy? How liquidy? You can also make this funky. You can add, Cajun seasonings. You can add, anything. So at this point, the sauce can go in any direction. This could become, Alfredo. This could become, I don't know, some other kind of cream sauce. So I'm going to continue to add the milk until I'm satisfied, because this will continue to thicken. So I didn't want this to be a super thick, super gloppy kind of consistency. I have less vegan cheese to hand than I would have preferred. So this is going to be like a heavy on the Parmesan kind of recipe. So I've used almost all of the milk. As you can see, there's just a little bit left. I'm going to keep that in case it gets too thick and I want to thin it out again. So I'm going to drop the heat, and I'm going to add a healthy amount of black pepper, some salt. You can see about that much salt. My husband likes things extremely salty, which I do not. I love salt. Shake of garlic. And this really kind of makes it some nutritional yeast. Some people say it smells like gym socks. I don't know if I disagree. There you go. You can kind of mix this up. And again, this is all about trial and error. This is about finding the consistency and the texture of sauce that you prefer. You could even stop here, and this would be a tasty sauce. And as I'm looking at it, I'm noticing that it definitely is kind of thick. So I'm going to add the rest of that milk, because you want this to be able to spread over your pasta. Okay, so now you can start to get fun and add some cheese. So I'm adding this, oh, this isn't even open yet. I think this will add a really nice flavor. And I don't know anything about how this particular Go Veggie or whatever Parmesan melts, so we shall see. Getting some shakes in of that. Unfortunately, I really don't have as much cheese as I would have liked. So we're kind of just going with whatever we have. Some Parmesan, and this is all your preference. For the most part, the sauce is mostly not cheese, so it's not like a big block of cheese or anything like that. So I did just throw in like some huge amount of Daiya slices. These are going to take a little while to melt down. I should have added them one at a time. And we might find that we might need a little milk in here to kind of help us melt and get nice. So you want to do this low and slow. You don't want to burn your sauce. This is much easier when you are dealing with shreds than slices, because the slices are, you know, obviously big pieces and they have to break down, which it's starting to do. So this is definitely going to be more like a white cheddar 3-cheese. That's what I'm going to call this. I'm going to call this a 3-cheese vegan mac and cheese. You want it to melt. So it's okay if you need to throw the heat up a little bit to facilitate that, but it looks pretty crafty, right? Also, when you drain your macaroni, it's still going to be a little, you know, wet from having boiled, so that water will help as well. But really the key is just to keep stirring, don't give up. But I promise that this is really delicious, and it won't disappoint. I guess the only thing that I'll say is if you're not into Daiya cheese or like fake cheeses, this might not be it. This might not be the one for you, only because it's got that fake cheese taste. But there's not much you can do about that when you're using fake cheese. So let's keep ourselves together. Totally forgot to record myself preparing this. Basically, I just put it in an oven-safe dish, topped it with a little Parmesan, some black pepper, some chili pepper, and baked it at 350 for about 15 minutes. It was really good. Please let me know if you try this out. Thanks for watching and enjoy.